to call, roll call. Berenice, please.
Trustee Acosta. Trustee Estrada.
Here.
Trustee Nichols. Trustee Sanchez.
Here.
Trustee Van Allen.
Here.
President Roth.
Here.
Student Trustee Alvarez Delgado.
And I believe Oscar is graduating right now? No, next week. Okay, but he is our student representative. Okay. Have we had any requests to attend remotely from?
We haven't received any requests for remote attendance under AB 244.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Spa, if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand if you're able to, face the flag. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3 is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
A motion made by Bruce, seconded by Edward. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Unanimous. Now is time for public comment. And this is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the agenda. Each speaker may speak up to 3 minutes unless otherwise limited or extended by the president. The president may allot time to those wishing to speak, but no action will be taken on matters presented. If appropriate, the president or any member of the board may direct that a matter be referred to the superintendent's office for placement on a future agenda.
I think you meant items not on the agenda when you read that. I think when you read that, you left the word not out. So this is for items not on the agenda.
Correction, Trustee Van Allen, this is a special board meeting, so we may only have public comment regarding items on the agenda.
Mr.
For a regular meeting, it is not on the agenda. Correct.
Give me a curveball, Bruce.
Sorry.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you. Correspondence, Bernice, number 5.
Yes, and then to confirm, President Roth, there are no requests for public comment on Zoom. It looks like we have a request, though, in person. Give me 1 moment.
Good afternoon, Superintendent and Trustees. My name is Jenny Veach Olson. I'm a resident of Watsonville, and I am here today to share some comments for the appointment of Rachel Williams. Just for information, I submitted a letter of recommendation for Rachel as well, and that was included in your packet. So these are comments from other supporters of hers. Rachel is a compassionate and caring person that will bring intention to her leadership as a trustee for Region 5. I wholeheartedly support Rachel in this position. She is committed to her community and always goes the extra mile in support of individuals and organizations in our county. She is beyond qualified for this position. Third comment, Rachel has shown up as an ally consistently and advocate for marginalized communities and for the county's diverse student body. She understands the need to bring high-quality programs to our students while addressing the broader issues preventing many of our students from reaching their potential. These qualities, balanced with her business acumen, make her the ideal candidate for the position of trustee. Rachel is a fantastic individual. Rachel was very involved as a parent in her child's education. She demonstrates the qualities needed for this appointment. And the final comment. My wife and I are both teachers in PVUSD and parents of 3 students at the PVUSD. Having known Rachel through this community involvement and other events over the past several years, I would be thrilled to see her serve the community as a trustee. She would be an advocate for students throughout the county and a thoughtful voice in representing the entire community. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? So we will move on to, well, no extra correspondence has been received.
Yes,
Okay.
no, sorry, correction, President Roth, we have received, aside from the 3 correspondents included in the board packet, we received 2 additional correspondence that have been emailed to you all. The first was received on Sunday, May 26th. This was sent by Jenny Sariamento. And a summary of the correspondence is that she's sharing her recommendation for Rachel Williams for the candidacy of Area 5 trustee. And then the second correspondence was received Monday, May 27th, and it is from Lauren Leff, and it is to summarize her sharing her recommendation for Gil Stein for the candidacy position of Area 5 trustee. And I have both correspondence here printed, available for anyone from the public who would like to see them.
Moving on into our new business, which is filling trustee area 5 vacancy on Santa Cruz County Board of Education. A vacancy exists on this county board, area 5, per board bylaw 9223. The board may appoint a provisional appointment to fill the vacancy for the remainder of the term. Board President Sue Roth will establish the interview process. So now we will move into the actual process. We will conduct these interviews in open session, and we'll do some introductions here. Will the members of the board please introduce themselves? Starting with Sandra.
Sandra Nichols. I think I'm in the trustee in the area 2, 3. Area 3, west side of Santa Cruz and up to the, through Davenport and into the mountains.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edward Estrada, pronouns he, him. I represent Area 4. Thanks, Berenice. Area 4, which is Live Oak School District and part of SoCal Union School District, like Santa Cruz Gardens area.
Thank you, Edward.
Good afternoon. I'm Bruce Van Allen. I represent trustee area 2, which is the east side of Santa Cruz and parts of Live Oak that Edward doesn't cover, and some mountain area too.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abel Sanchez. I represent trustee area 7, which includes a lot of Watsonville, including parts of San Andreas and Freedom as well.
Hi, I'm Sue Roth, and I represent Scotts Valley and San Lorenzo Valley. And now I will pass this over to Dr. Sabah, and he will introduce the staff.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Farah Sabah. I work as the County Superintendent of Schools.
My name is Leanne Reyes. I'm Deputy Superintendent, Business Services.
Good afternoon, Nick Ibarra, Director of Communications and Engagement.
Berenice Valentin, Administrative Assistant to the County Superintendent of Schools.
Okay, there you've got it. Now, please note that the copies of the applications, interview questions, and worksheet for notes are available in their folders prepared by the staff. And available to whoever is here also?
Yes, there are copies if anybody would like to see them. In the back with the board packets.
Should you need one. Okay. Dr. Sabah, please review the process for the county board to fill a vacancy through an appointment.
Thank you, President Roth. So under Education Code 5091 and our board policy 9223, which is what we're following today, as you know, on April 15th, Trustee Alto notified us that she was unable to continue in her position as a member of this County Board of Education. And that opens up a 60-day window for you to make a decision about whether to appoint somebody to complete Trustee Alto's term, which is going to end on December 15th of this year, or call for a special election. You made the decision for us to move forward with the process to appoint a member of the community who resides in Trustee Area 5. And we sent out notifications for that process with a deadline of Friday, May 10th. We received 3 interested applicants, Gilbert Stein, and they were received in this order: Gilbert Stein, Rachel Williams, and Tim Landick. That third candidate, Tim Landick, later decided to decline, retracted their application. And so at this point, we have 2 candidates that are here to participate in the interview. The timeline for this is that the candidates would be interviewed by you, and then you would have the option to move forward with one of the candidates to be appointed, and they would be immediately sworn in and become a member of the county board. Take action to appoint them to the board. And this would, that person would be a representative of this county board until the end of the term in December of this year. I believe that is a summary of the process.
Okay, any questions? Okay, now I will describe the actual interview process. Each applicant will be asked the same 6 questions. Responses should be directed to the board and should not refer to the other applicants. Question 1 will be answered first by applicant 1. Then applicant 2 will be asked the same question. Question 2 will then be answered first by applicant 2, and applicant 1's response will follow. D, each applicant will alternate who answers a question first. After all 6 questions are answered, each applicant will have the opportunity to make a 2-minute closing statement. Opportunity for public comment regarding the interview process. Are there any questions from the public as far as this goes? And I would take it that Mr. Stein would be the first person, as we received your application first. Yeah, okay. So, the questions in hand, and all of the board has.
We ask the candidates to be seated.
Oh, yeah, just wave from the audience.
Mr.
Please
Stein
come.
and Ms. Williams, if you wouldn't mind taking a
Please,
seat,
please.
there's a
Come on. Thank you.
name tent in front of you, and if you wouldn't mind making sure that the microphone is turned on when you sit down. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being patient.
Sure. No problem. Can you hear? Is this?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we will, I guess, have each one of us ask one of the questions. Do you want to start, Sandra?
I'll start. I see question number 1.
Yes, you can be questioned.
do you see as the basic purpose of public schools? What is the role of the county board in the fulfillment of that purpose?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think I'm a product of the public schools, and I think what they serve is to level the playing field, because before we had public schools, we had those who had the money and they went to private schools, and then we had others who had no money and they had no schooling at all. And I think that one of the most important things is to level the playing field, to give every student the opportunity to succeed, whether they're legal status or not legal status, they're here, they should learn. And we have an obligation, this is our future. As far as the goal and the role of the COE in this, I think one of the most important things right now is to make sure that all of our districts are financially solvent. It was really tragic for me to read about what's going on in Live Oak and having to lay off people. And obviously the students are the ones who suffer, and we're not going to be able to recruit and retain good staff people and good educators if we can't financially support them. So that's, I believe, one of the goals that the COE has. And we might have to make sure that Live Oak remains viable and that other school districts don't follow in that footstep. So that's how I see public education, and the role of the COE is to make sure that we are able to continue to provide a quality education for all of the students who desire it.
Ms. Williams?
Yes. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I believe that public education is multi-pronged. One is access to free education, to provide a physically and mentally safe place for students to learn, to be educated. Also an opportunity to achieve at their highest potential. And I think we can also add to that with socialization. That is a big piece that I think public education provides for our students, an opportunity to socialize, to have personal growth, to provide an opportunity to learn about civic engagement, and create, of course, a love for knowledge in their schools. So as far as Board of Educators, I think that the role is incredibly important. It's thoughtful governance. It's putting time and effort and real thought into our budgets and how they support our students, making sure that there is a budget for all of the needed programs, regardless of what the student needs are. I think it also includes being responsible and giving thought to professional development for our educators. Retention is an issue, and I think professional development is important, not just for the teachers themselves, but as a result, it benefits our students. It's involving critical decision-making and also creating equal opportunities for all students through that thoughtful governance. Thank you.
Okay. So this will go to Ms. Ms. Williams, Ms. Rachel.
That's fine.
So question 2, what would you like to accomplish as a board member? Which of those accomplishments is your highest priority and why?
Okay. So I've put some thought into this, and I started out with some grand ideas, and then I took a step back and I said, well, you know, as a first year Board of Trustees, I'm going to listen, pay attention, and focus on the things that the Board of Educators is responsible for, including, student achievement, of course, is important. Curriculum is important. Fostering, again, professional development and integrating technology. I think the County of Education has done a really great job. They have lots of programs already in place. It's a great foundation. So my priority is to help govern with a thoughtfulness. And I want to make sure that my participation is effective. And I think I can best do that by just sitting, listening, participating in the community, being open to ideas, and being an extension for the County Office of Education and the superintendent, and then build upon that. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Stein?
Yes, you don't have to repeat the question. I think my number one priority would be trying to make our schools safe and healthy for all the students, teachers, and staff, and that includes mental health. Because I think that's one of the greatest problems we have in this country right now, and Santa Cruz has not escaped that. We've had suicides, we've had issues of bullying in our schools, and whether it's coming from the local district or for the County Office of Education, I think we need to take a stronger role in helping our students and our staff, because some of our teachers and staff are also subject to bullying, both by students and sometimes by parents. So I think that would be my number one priority. And then the other I already alluded to has to do with the financial stability of our districts. We can't help our students and our staff if we don't have the money, and we need to do something to help with that. And whether it's guidance from above in Sacramento or from here, but we need to do something, and we need to do it fairly quickly. Enrollment, I think, is dropping in all of the districts, and with the ADA and things like that, it's going to impact how we're able to educate. And another factor, I think, is I think there needs to be better communication, because I think that many people don't have faith in the public schools anymore for a variety of reasons, and often it's misplaced reasons. And speaking of, communication, I found out about this opening just by chance on some website. So I think there needs to be better communication from the board, this board itself, and all our boards to get more community involvement in the public schools.
Describe your response to a parent or a friend demanding that you take a particular stance on a hot button issue.
That's for me, or?
Mr. Stein goes
Yes,
first.
okay.
Mr. Stein, yeah, sorry.
First of all, I don't give in to demand, period. If someone wants to make a request that I look into a matter, that's another story. But demands, no, that's not I don't deal with that. I would just tell them that they need to rephrase the question or go somewhere else, because I'm not going to do that. And I won't give preferential treatment to friends or colleagues or people I know, or just because they ask me. I will listen, and I will discuss, and I will confer with other people. And if it's something that I feel worthwhile, I will bring it to the board as far as the protocol. But demands, no way.
Thank you. So this is interesting because we live in in a world where everybody has an opinion about something, and we want to convince each other that our resolution, our opinion is the right one. So I think that I would first start by telling this individual, I respect your strong opinion, and we all have them. I appreciate you taking the time to share that with me, and I will take that under consideration. I'm committed to taking in all points of view, whether I might immediately agree to it or not, but I think it's important to have different perspectives. I'm dedicated to embracing those perspectives. I think that when we're making decisions and expressing that to an individual is prioritizing fairness, prioritizing, what the laws are, but considering their point of view. But most, I want to say the priority has always got to be our students. And so, and not just theirs, because a lot of times when you're talking to a parent or a community person, they're talking from a personal perspective. And so I want to respect that. But I believe the trustees, their goal is to benefit all of our students, not just the one individual. So respect their opinion, take it into consideration, and thank them for their time, and get back to them. So after a decision is made, that's probably the hardest part, is sometimes telling someone we're going to have to agree to disagree, and transparency, this is how I voted, and these are the reasons why. Thank you.
All right, question number 4. Start with Rachel. Describe how you would balance the following when deciding how to vote on a matter before the board. Community concerns, student needs, state and federal law, staff recommendations, and your personal values and beliefs.
Okay. I'm going to continue on with kind of what I was talking previously, and that's really having an open mindset when issuing a vote. I think it's important to gather information myself. You know, a lot of people have, this is what it said, this is what's happening, et cetera, et cetera. I would start by doing research myself. I would consider, of course, compliance with laws and regulations, our own bylaws, criteria that are already established, other community feedback and information and thoughts. Of course, I would reflect on my own personal values and experiences, but those would not take precedence. But certainly, I think we're all human and want to consider those kinds of things. And staff recommendations, of course, they're on the front lines. And so I think it's incredibly important to be able to integrate that into a decision-making process. And with the fellow board of trustees, seek consensus and compromise. I think that's important. We're not going to all agree on everything. There's going to be split votes. There's going to be debate. And so I think it's important to kind of seek that compromise. And again, always putting the student first. How is the student going to benefit from this, from my decision? If I vote this way, what are the pros and cons? If I vote this way, what are the pros and cons? And again, students being the priority. Thank you.
Right. Now, Gilbert, same question. Describe how you would balance the following when deciding how to vote on a matter before the board. Community concerns, student needs, state and federal law, staff recommendations, and your personal values and beliefs.
Well, first of all, as an attorney, I look first to the state and federal law. I think that's the most important thing. We want to be in compliance. We don't need lawsuits saying that we didn't comply with the law. That's unnecessary legal fees, and we don't need that. And also the laws are there for guidance, and they tell us, there's usually a reason why these laws were passed. So that's number one. Number two, I think the experience that I have had at PVUSD over the ethnic studies fight shows that things could have been handled differently. So I believe that in that district, the staff deceived the trustees. They were not honest with them. And the trustees followed the lead, and it's not been a good result right now. It's in controversy. And I can elaborate with that because I know when the agenda item for the original contract on ethnic studies, it was listed as a graduation requirement. It was not listed as ethnic studies. So there was some deceit, I think, from the staff. That doesn't mean we don't listen to the staff, but we need to consult with other people. Sometimes in law, and in medicine, we look for second opinions. And I think sometimes we need to do that. If you're a member of the trustees, you have an independent voice, and you shouldn't just be a rubber stamp for the staff. As far as community, I believe that we should be listening to the community, but that means all the community, not just the loudest people, not just the people who pack the room and shout insults at others. We want community. We want to hear all the voices of the community because very rarely are we going to have unanimity. So, and by listening to everybody, we often will come up with the right decision, even though it may not please everyone. Obviously, students are important, and we need to listen to their needs. But we also have to use our own judgment as adults who've also completed schooling when it comes to solutions for some of those needs. And it also, because when a student says they need this, we need to listen. If they say they need more time, we need to accommodate. We try to. If they have trouble with public transportation or getting to school, we need to listen to that. But the solutions have to come from everybody, and that's the staff, that's the trustees, that's members of the community, and that may be outside consultants as well to find out what the best solutions are. And as far as personal values and beliefs, those are extremely important. They don't necessarily override the facts, but I come to the conclusion that when in doubt, go with your gut. I think that's, oops, I think that's important because we have values and people know or should know our values when they select us or in the case of November, elect a member of the trustees. So I think that is important. It isn't necessarily overriding, and sometimes you have to, even if you think, for instance, if the law is wrong, which in many times it is, you still have to go, that's number one. We don't want, even if your own gut says it shouldn't be that way, it is that way, and we have to comply with that. But I would hope that the trustees will listen to what I'm saying regarding the staff. It may not be something that people want to hear, but I think it's important. There are many, many voices out there, and we should listen to them all. Yeah, back to back.
Sorry, I filled the page too soon. As a board member, how would you ensure you stay up to date? I'm having a wonderful day. Anyway. And I'm always in trouble with the microphone. As a board member, how would you ensure you stay up to date on issues affecting the district/county office, especially, or public K-12 education generally?
First of all, there's lots of information on the computer. There are webinars. So that kind of information is readily available if one would take the time to do it, and I plan to. Also, I think it's important to meet with the community, to meet with other trustees of the Board of Education, also the trustees, for instance, in Pajaro Valley, meet with the superintendent, the principals, and others to get their take on local issues. And just to get out in the community and hear what people are saying. And that will then move me to look at other issues that may not be available necessarily as common knowledge, but it's available in many, many different sources. There's EdSource, there's so many different publications dealing with education, and many of them don't apply necessarily to Santa Cruz County, but many of them do. And that's how I would plan to stay up to date on it. It can be a very daunting task because there is a lot of information, a lot of controversy, but I think if I'm selected, I will have the time to do that.
Rachel, do you want me to repeat the question or are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. I appreciate that. As a board member, I think it is first important to show up. Show up to meetings, show up to community events and activities where parents and students in our community is gathering. And the reason why I think that's so important is not everybody has the opportunity to show up to a meeting in the afternoon, some not even in the evening. And so when families are gathering and having they're enjoying themselves, but they're also talking and conversing. So I think it's really important to show up to those types of events because you will be exposed and hear what's going on in the community, what people are really thinking and what they're really feeling. And it's important to bring those things back. Of course, subscribing to publications, reading the board packets, being ready for meetings, asking questions, personal professional development. I know that there are, conferences for boards of trustees. I know that there are trainings that you can do. And so I think it's really important when you're around and networking and educating yourself, you are going to be coming across those kinds of things and changes in laws or bylaws or how things are being handled in different districts. Monitoring social media. not commenting, but monitoring, because a lot happens. People tend to, because there's, anonymity there, people tend to put it all out there and say, this is what I'm going through in my school. And I have come across that, and people have asked, well, where's a better school than X? And, when people have asked me, I said, there is no better school. You're looking for a fit for your child. And maybe the current school that you're in, maybe it's not a fit. Let's talk to the right, talk to the teachers, talk to the principal, talk to the superintendent, et cetera. But information is out there. And I think that that's how you can kind of keep up to date with what's happening. Sometimes it's a little bit harder, but following legislative activity and understand how changes in our state funding might affect our community, our district, our funding, and being ahead of that helps us plan and be proactive in how the County of Education budgets and how we look at it in benefiting our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And then back to Sandra.
I get an extra question here.
Yes. And it would start with Rachel.
Okay. Rachel be the first to answer.
Yes.
This is question 6. In addition to preparing for and attending board meetings, some personal time will be necessary for individual study and growth, such as attending regional meetings, trainings, and conferences. Board members may also attend social events, such as graduations, holiday celebrations, and ribbon cuttings in their role as a county board trustee. How do you plan to manage your time and commitment to the board if selected?
Thank you for that question. Managing all of those responsibilities is definitely a juggle, it's a juggling act. Some of us could be retired. Some of us have full-time jobs. Some of us have other maybe committee commitments. Some of us have demanding children and pets. We don't know. It's a juggling act for sure. Staying organized is really important. I use technology to help keep me organized, and many times, as I'm sure you have experienced, overlapping activities. And so I definitely start with those things that I have committed to first. That becomes my priority. A perfect example was today I had the opportunity to serve lunch to seniors at Harbor High. I had made this commitment it was a few weeks ago now. And so right before coming here, I'm serving, tacos, but I find enjoyment and fulfillment in it. I don't see those kinds of things as a chore, seeing the students, seeing graduations and the accomplishments. That's just kind of a bonus for me. I think it's important to balance those kinds of things, to avoid burnout. And that can be a real thing for a lot of people. And I personally balance those things in my well-being by spending time with family, going to lunch and going for a long drive with my daughter. Those are the things that I do to prevent burnout. But as far as organizing, I love to use, technology to kind of keep me balanced and prioritize those commitments that I have. And if chosen, I would bring that same level to my role here as a trustee. I would show up, I would be engaged, I would be prepared. And you can count on me to be present just willingly and enthusiastically to community events, specifically and especially for students. I was here at the last board meeting, and I don't think I've ever been to a more gratifying board meeting ever. And just watching the students present and just see their smiles, it was incredible. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity. But I would definitely bring that same type of organization and enthusiasm to, should I be chosen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops. think they're trying to tell me something. Couple of months ago, I would have answered the question somewhat differently, but I'll be retiring as of July 31st, so I will have plenty of time to devote to this position. I have been the president and board of directors member of the California Applicant Attorneys Association now for, well, as president over about 25 years ago, and been on the board of directors from before that and since. And I have been to many meetings. I've kept up on the law. I have been to Sacramento as a lobbying legislators on various issues, and going to conferences, to holiday functions, to social events, graduations, ribbon cuttings, all of the other things that a board of trustees should be doing so that they can communicate with the community and show how important education is to this county. That's not going to be a problem for me. Might have been 2 or 3 months ago, but like I said, as of July 31, I am hanging up my shingle, and I will be able to devote as much time as necessary. This would be my job in a sense. And I would be very honored and proud to be able to work with you all in making the education system here in Santa Cruz the best it could possibly be.
Thank you, and congratulations on your retirement.
Well, we'll talk about it on August 1.
So thank you for your thoughtful answers. Very well presented. Now each applicant will have the opportunity to make a 2-minute closing statement. And do you do Rochambeau or do we?
I think maybe the same order that we started with.
Okay,
That's right.
applicant 1.
All right, applicant 1.
Okay. Are you going to do the clock, or are we just going to be on the honor system here?
Honor system, you've both been very succinct.
Okay, I'll try to do the same now. Education, unfortunately, has become a polarizing part of American society, and Santa Cruz is no exception. Whether it's from the right or the left or somewhere in between, education should not be a political issue. It should be a nonpartisan issue, because we should be thinking of what is best for our children and our community. Children, students are an investment. And when we're asked, for instance, Pajaro Valley to come up with a bond of over $300 million, it's a burden, but it's an investment. And hopefully it will pass, and they'll be able to do the kind of work that's necessary to improve the infrastructure of the schools. But there's been a lot of delayed maintenance, I'm sure, in most of our districts, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So having more respect for the public education, I think, is important. And I think that one of the things that I can do is to help improve that communication and try to get people to understand how important education is, particularly public education, K through 12 and beyond. We have an outstanding community college here, and many of our students end up going there and then move on to a 4-year school. And that really is a tremendous asset to the community. So again, communication, I think, is what's helpful. We have a strong board here, I can see, and very concerned citizens regarding education, but we need more input from the board into the community. And I just think that it's something that has been neglected, and it's a shame, because some of the schools are in disrepair, and we need to do better. And I think we can. I think we have the resources. We put our minds to it, and I'd be very honored to be able to help you participate in doing that. Thank you.
Rachel?
Thank you. I first want to just Thank you for the opportunity to be here and apply for this, position of honor. And I want to tell just a little bit about myself. And I've been here in the county for about 18 years, and sometimes I still feel like a newbie. But I've also raised 2 children in our Santa Cruz County education system, 2 very different children. One who struggled with traditional school, and it was only through the compassion of a teacher from the County Office of Education adult schools that convinced my son not to drop out, but to pursue getting his high school diploma. And it was because of that compassion and an opportunity in that type of school for him to actually get his high school diploma and to be able to fulfill his childhood dream of becoming a Marine. Not my dream, his dream. And then I have a daughter who has been planning her life and her career since she was 5. It was inevitable that she wanted to go to college. That was a given. She loves the challenge and is the main reason why she decided to go to Harbor High because of the IB program, diploma program. And so having that experience, raising 2 different kids and knowing that there is a no one size fits all in our education system. We can't put our kids in a box. And I am proud of a community that employs teachers with compassion to reach out to students, and also a community that has these alternative education schools to meet the needs of the students where they're at. And so because of that, I believe that it's important for us for the priority to be advocacy for equity for all students, not just in their access to education, but in their classrooms, in their schools. I know that there is a disparity between schools that are in Watsonville and teachers trying to do crowdfunding to get certain things in their classroom. And to no fault of anybody's, but it's sad that they have to do that. And then I know other schools where, parents are they're affluent communities where parents willfully give money so teachers don't have to do that. And so creating sort of a, narrowing that disparity is something that I would like to see happen. I'm confident that I can contribute significantly to the County Board of Education through governance and oversight. I have a business degree. I have worked on a board for nonprofits, worked for large corporate companies. By far, I enjoy most working for startups because there's so much to do and there's so much enthusiasm that goes along with it. And I think I will bring that same energy to the role. I also want to be able to see, through the County Office of Education's goals. I want to be a part of that, and I'm committed to understanding the necessary criteria while also demonstrating empathy towards students and their needs. I know one of probably the most difficult things that the trustees have to do is to decide placement of some students, and that can be really difficult. And, you have to look at the criteria and the bylaws and the rules, but also do it with empathy. And I think I can bring all of those qualities to the role if selected. Thank you.
Moving on to perhaps public comment from the public. Is there anything that you didn't say in with or would like to say now? Please approach. And members of the board, please take a moment and review your notes. And then do you have any comments? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. I think you stay. Yeah, I mean,
Stay in the room. Yep.
Please. I believe that Trustee Sanchez had a.
you're shaking yes or no?
Well, it's very similar to what you mentioned. I just wanted to thank both the applicants for your interest in the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. It makes me happy to know that you guys are interested, that the community, is interested, and that you guys are willing to make time and effort to be able to not only be here, but to potentially serve our students as well. So thank you both for being here.
Any other comments?
I'll once again reiterate what has already been said. Thank you both so much for, stepping up for the community, putting in an application, coming here. And I know it's a weird time that we meet at 4 p.m. On Thursdays. So, well, 4:30 today, but 4 o'clock usually. So thank you. And, I see both of your guys' passion and, what you want to bring to the County Office of Education. Yeah, I also wanted to maybe say, why I got into this and why I applied was because of, the COE is really for, kids, students who, need something, non-traditional, and, really supporting them with, alternative education, making sure that, if they want to, they can get their high school diplomas, and, have a fulfilling experience and really bridging that gap. So definitely, want to thank you both for what you had to say. And yeah, I think that's what the COE does best is, making sure it's not one size fits all education. So yeah, thank you.
Very impressive, both of you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And I too would like to thank you both for stepping up. This is an important position in this county. And I feel that both of you bring different qualities and skills to this. And also, reminder, should you not be chosen, this position will be open in on the November general election. So anyway, thank you. So now, I will entertain a motion for a provisional appointment for trustee area 5.
I'll contribute something to the conversation. Does it
Okay.
now be the time?
Yes.
Okay, well, I think you're both really very good candidates for filling the vacancy on the board. And I'm glad to see you here tonight and that I got the opportunity to hear you speak as well as what you've written here. And some of you write, Rachel, you seem to be very, very dedicated in preparing for this experience. And I admire that you thought about each question and came up with worthy answers on them. And Gilbert, you also seem very prepared here and very capable of answering questions that come your way. I think you're both well-spoken, and I'd be glad to work with either one of you. Yeah, I'm happy that we have two such good candidates. We'll see how you are at campaigning when the campaign comes.
So do I have a motion to fill the position for Area 5?
I'll make a motion
Okay, Sandra.
to appoint Rachel Williams as the person to be the trustee in the vacant spot.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion is made to appoint Rachel. Made by Sandra, seconded by Abel. And this will be a roll call vote. So, Erin, is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trustee Estrada,
Yes.
Trustee Nichols, Trustee Sanchez,
Yes.
Trustee Van Allen, President Roth.
Yes. So, thank you, you both. And we will now have Dr. Sabah please swear in the trustee and then take your seat up here at the board. Congratulations.
Before I do that, I do want to also thank both candidates. Thank you, Mr. Stein, for participating in this process, and thank you, Ms. Williams, as well. If you will meet me at the center of here in front of the dais. All right, let's grab you a microphone here.
Oh, sure.
All right, so you're about to be sworn in as a member of the County Board of Education. We're so grateful for your willingness to participate in this position and advocate on behalf of the students and on behalf of the County Office of Education. So please raise your right hand. Usually I have to raise my right hand, but I can't right now. So. And please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Rachel Williams,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which
the duties upon which
I'm about to enter.
I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
You have system of where you would like her to be?
Right here. No. Right here. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So. Welcome.
Thank you.
And now we will be having two special meetings. No, one regular meeting, another special meeting. The regular meeting of this board will be Thursday, June 20th, here in this room at 4 p.m. And then we have another meeting, and it's really big budget, correct? LCAP, which kind of relates.
Boy.
Yeah, a lot of work here. And that will be Thursday, June 27th, 4 o'clock here in this meeting. So with that, thank you both for stepping forward. And Rachel, we really welcome you to the board. Thanks very much. Okay. The meeting is now closed.